Hey, what's up guys? This is our 15-inch laptop bag. We used to build these all the time. I've probably not built one in over a decade. I don't know that we've ever built one in this building that we've been in for 10 years now. 10 years, that's wild to even say that. It doesn't seem like 10 years. It's probably even more than that. We just did a shirt, Falling Down. All I wanted was breakfast. It's a movie from the 90s. If you've not seen it, definitely check it out. It's on YouTube at this point. You can watch it for free, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyways, we were gonna do a skit for this shirt to promote the shirt, and I was gonna dress up as the character from Falling Down, and he has a briefcase through much of the movie. I didn't have a briefcase, so I thought, well, I will build one. So this is a sew sample. This is one of the samples off of the production floor, just to look at. I'm pretty sure I can build this. I remember how it goes. I built the first of them. I designed it. So that's what I'm going to build, and you're going to see how we build that. It's very similar to building any of our rifle cases or the helmet bag or anything like that. I say that all the time. We really build like 5 or 6 products, and then for the other 1,000, it's just a movement of the dimensions and how we bedazzle it, the features we put on it. So I'm going to start with process of elimination. Cody just cut all these pieces for me. We're going to do a OD black one, and then I'll probably sell this off on the video tonight. By the time you see this video, that will have already happened. But anyways, that's what's happening here. Basically, I have a front and a back, and then I have the zipper lips and the bottom, how we build most of the pouches you've seen me build with a zipper. They're built in that manner. This does have handles. The handles do not cradle all the way underneath. They don't need to. And then there's a flat pocket on the back like our diaper bag has, and that's Velcro lined. And the reason that is you could wear it on your left-hand side, and you can reach back in there and cross-draw a pistol out of there without opening the whole entire case. When I originally built this thing, it was back around 2005, 6, maybe 7. And I envisioned just for EDC, right? Sitting in a Starbucks, sitting in a sandwich shop someplace, you've got your briefcase, and you could have a side folder MP5K or anything like that. Back then, there was no pistols with braces on them. Like, that didn't really exist back then. So I just pictured short carbine, and then, laptop and such. And the way this opens up, it opens up. Where are the zippers? It zips open, but it has this padded sleeve inside. So you could have your carbine mounted right here, your little side folder right here, and then you could have something else here, pistol, mags, whatever. But when you open it up, the laptop would just be in the inner here. So if you open this up, prying eyes from the side wouldn't go, oh my God, he's got a gun. And that's what this is built for. The new ones that we're going to build, well, the one I'm building right now will have Velcro here also. So you can have all kinds of mag cards and Velcro mesh pockets. This would work great for medical loadout. You could literally put anything you want to. This could be whatever you want this bag to be. That's what we're gonna build here. So I'm just gonna go with process of elimination. And I know that these are the main panels. So I'm just gonna start with these here. This black material right here has a little heavier hand than the OD. So I'm gonna put this back to back. The black is gonna be on the inside. The green is going to be the outside. And you can tack that at the beginning if you want to. I did not. You can see there's a little bit of tension here. It's kind of puckering this up. Needles down, I'm kind of stretching it back out. I'm gonna take a little tension off of here. I'm also gonna make my stitch pattern a little bit larger. Now, it's not laying nice and flat now. Duplicate it. Are you messaging me? Mm-hmm. Are you MySpacing me? Mm-hmm. I'll bet there's people on here that have never even heard of MySpace.
I'm sure. Is yours still active?
every time I search about every 6 months, I search a few key terms together, and my MySpace does come up. The music is no longer playing, but all the photos are all still there. And I do have to say, as cool as I am now, I was equally as cool then. I always impress me. Okay, looks like the first thing that needs to go on here. Why do I have this extra piece? Oh, good, it's bigger. that's supposed to be an extra piece. Let's, okay, it folds over. And the reason this is bigger is because I hem it like this, which makes, the reason this is here is because I'm gonna put a couple snaps here, and I don't want to hem just through a single piece. I don't want to put snaps through a single piece of Cordura, single layer. So I'm gonna go ahead and, did you see that? What just happened here? Why did it skip all of that and then start sewing again? This machine always does that. It's like after you get about 5 minutes of sewing out of this machine, it does some weird shit for the next 5 minutes, and then it works correct. Am I out of thread? No. These bobbins, when you take them out of the package, have this flat spring in here. That spring inevitably fails, gets burrs. We take that spring out, and we take a piece of pack cloth. You could use Cordura, I guess, if you wanted to. And we make this little buffer, this washer kind of, and we put oil on that. And that keeps, it puts a little pressure on here and keeps it from backlashing. They also have something called Sew Honey. It's like really tacky oil. And I've seen people use that too. I had a sewing machine mechanic that liked to use that stuff. I've never used that stuff in 35 years, but he came out of a couple big factories and it was a thing. So I'm just gonna pop these. I'm sewing bigger than I want to also because I made that stitch pattern bigger. I'm gonna go ahead and take this whole line out of here. Except where I tacked in, where I said. So, all right, let's start this. Get that out of there too, that'll rat nest. Get in the habit of cleaning your work as you go. If you're watching my videos, you're probably a single man shop starting out. So get in the habit. You don't have a dude standing there clipping and cleaning. We call it the clip and clean table. In the old days, we would hire a guy and like, you're the buckle monkey. And that was the dude that clipped and cleaned and put all the buckles on everything after it was all sewn. You probably won't have one of those people for a long time. So clip and clean your own work. It's something else I noticed too, because we do have clip and clean people. And we also have sewers that will sew and clip and clean as they go. The sewers that put out the best product also happen to be the people that clip and clean as they go. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it is the case. So this seems really, did I billow that? I did not billow that. Why is that? Nope, that's just how high it is. Okay. All right, handles. Let's go ahead and make some handles. All of my handles I do at 5 inches on center, no matter what it is. So I'm just going to find the center of this right here. I'm going to use my razor blade to sharpen my Crayola colored pencil. I know nowadays you guys have all these fake like plastic pencils, whatever those are. Use whatever you want. I like Crayola pencils. You get what you pay for. They cost a little bit more than those bullshit Rose Art ones. But they last longer. The lead doesn't shatter as much. I do have real, what are those called? Pencil sharpeners. I'll bet when I do this, people don't know what I'm talking about. I have some robot pencil sharpeners out there. You put this in there and it goes, it sucks it down, sharpens it, spits it back out. it eats up tons. Like when you're using those pencil sharpeners, I like the razor blade. I'm gonna find center. Almost everything we do on all of my products is built off of the center. If you don't know where the middle is, you're not building anything. That's your favorite part of your girlfriend too, so. All right, 2.5, so I'm gonna go 2.5 and 5 off the center. I'm going to take and transfer that mark onto the next one. Don't measure anything more than once. Make a master and then transfer over. We hire people they'll be marking, and I'll watch them with a yardstick or a ruler, and they're measuring every piece of. I'm like, what are you doing? And they'll have a stack of 100 of identical things, and I'm like, look, take the mark, make it on your master. This is the master. Transfer the master to the next one. Always use the original as the master, because if you transfer to this one and then the next one and the next one, inevitably you're going to have shift. Very basic things. So off of there, I think my handle spread is probably, oh, it's very narrow. 4.5 inches. Weird. I don't know why I did that. That is aesthetically not how I would have done it now. However, this is what, 12, this is 13, 14, 15, 16. So on center 8, let's find 8. Let's go ahead and make a mark there. There's center. And then I said what, 4.5, is that what I said? Mm-hmm. So let's go 2.25 and 2.25. Let's go ahead and make a second mark down here and then connect the dots so that I don't have my handles on cockeyed. Is that a word still? Does that cattywampus?
I think cattywampus is the word.
Does that still exist in the dictionary?
I don't know. I didn't start using it again until you, so.
I never said like youngsters and kids until recently, and I'm around people that are like 25, and I'm like, oh, this kid's mentally handicapped. That's what's going on here. All right. I see the more young people I come in contact with, the more I realize that they're just dumb. Like there's some that are like really, really smart, but
there's also a difference between really smart and really dumb together.
Yeah.
They know everything about crypto, but can't, they don't know how to
know everything about crypto, but have no crypto.
Exactly.
All right, so off center, my handle is 5 inches. Why is my handle 5 inches? My handle is 5 inches because the company that I looked at that I thought was the absolute best out there, the pinnacle in the tactical gear industry, when I started doing this stuff, and even before, was Eagle Industries, John Carver. And all of his handles were 5 inches, and if it was good enough for Eagle, it was good enough for me, and that's why my handles have been 5 inches. I like to chain everything together. That way I clip that. There's really no cleanup. I'll just hit it with a lighter. When I cut my thread, I have to pull the thread out. I have to hold on to it when I start sewing. That is very time consuming, especially if you're gonna do, 100, 200, 300 disconnects as you're sewing on a project. It's way faster to chain everything together, which is what you just saw there. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on from the bottom. I'm going to run straight into this. I started from the wrong side. My 1-inch marks are there, so I've realized that. I'm going to go ahead and make my 1-inch marks here. Being cognizant of where this webbing is going to go, I am putting them on the inside so that I can still see my mark once I'm there. I do everything in this colored pencil. You will see guys every now and then, I'll get an email like, hey, I have these colored marks all over. Rub them on your shirt, rub them on with a towel, rub them on your jeans. That colored mark comes right off. We used to see on forums that you'd see people mad about, and that's the shit talking they would do is, I get SOE stuff and it has marks all over it. Well, we know you're not using your stuff because your marks would be off of it.
As I say, usually within a month, every bag I have, there's nothing on it.
Just bleed on it a little bit. It'll all be the same color. Leading edge. That is the edge that's going to catch the most damage, and you know, that's going to be the first line. I want 3 lines minimum in that leading edge. I don't know why I just sewed down. I should have come across. Because right now I've got 1 here, 3 here now. I'm going to come back to this corner, sew right across here. That puts 2 lines in there. I am going to sew across the bottom. You probably don't need to because you're going to catch that when you sew the bag closed in the seam and everything. If you were somehow to rip all this out, you have this travel here down to this line here. I've never seen the leading edge rip out of anything we've ever put out. There's 3 already, so I guess I actually put 4 there. I'm gonna bring my box. I want my box to be 2 inch by 1.5 inches. You can do yours however you want. It can be 2 by 1, 2 by 2. I used to make everything square. I just think the rectangles look better. There's 3. I'm gonna X up here. That puts 4 in that top line. I'm going to come down to this one. We've already got 3 there, and I'm just going to lock that in and travel. Yes, I know, Pointer's parachute manual. All you riggers out there, I know that's not how you do a proper box X. Well aware. All right, there's that. I probably, in fact, I definitely should have. Nope. I was going to say I should have put my Velcro inside. There's actually, inside this bag is a sleeve, files, magazines, whatever you want to put. I would actually put my laptop right there. So no, I don't need to sew through. There's going to be another piece in here. Nope, I've already messed it up. I double layered that Cordura, and that should not have been double layered. So we will cut some extra pieces. This bag will be a couple ounces heavier than all the other bags. It'll also be cooler. Let's go ahead and pals this sucker out. What do we have? We have a piece of giant Velcro on the face for patches and cool shit. Screams, nowadays it screams, I have a gun. Why do I not have... I need one way longer piece. I do have it. I'll bet that's what this is. I do. All right.
For that Velcro. stitch lines on the top of these to measure and gauge?
Yeah, for the most part, I just want it 1 inch down is what it looked like there. That's exactly what that is though. You can see I'm a little crooked. See how I'm probably 1 inch there and I'm like 1 1/8 here, how I have more meat here. Now, of course you can't see it because you don't have a calibrated eye. I have the calibrated eye.
I have the most calibrated eye.
When I was in the deepest, darkest prisons, I had my eyes polished. I have a reticle here. I got a sea monkey in this eye right here.
Are you MS-13?
MS-13? No, I don't have combat cock tattoos. Is that for all your dead homies or is that for the homies you killed?
Both.
How's the teardrops work? That's how many years you did? How many chicks, how many of your wives went sideways on you? What does that stand for? You got all the face tats. I don't.
I don't know.
Find out.
I need more.
Google it, bitch. Google me, bitch. I don't see any, man, every time I second guess Cody, all his shit's there. No, I'm kind of at peace with this right now.
Does he have your address?
Yeah, I gave him the address. He's going to be surprised he gets here and the doors are all locked. The gate's closed. You never know, man. Reptile people are weird.
Fill everybody in on what we're talking about, in case they haven't seen it.
The reptile stuff?
Yeah, well, just in general for today, too.
So, my wife has decided that we need another 40-hour or 60-hour a week job. So, I'm not back into reptiles, but we have some reptiles. There's one there. There's one up top moving around. Anyways, there's a dude coming here from Kentucky that's bringing a, I don't remember if it's 14 or 16 foot reticulated python. It's a big ass snake. He's coming down, so we'll see. All right, let's go right off center. We've got that original line. PALS is spaced 1.5. Rather than measuring that out, I use a gauge. This ruler right here is perfect. It happens to come out right at 1.5 inches. So I just make my marks right here. I know somebody's like, I would never buy that with those yellow lines. That's okay. You can't buy it. It's all right. They do make blacklight pencils. And a lot of sewing machine sewing factories will have all their marks in UV chalk, I guess. I don't know, but you only see it under a black light. So that is a thing, or it used to be a thing. I've not heard of it in forever, but it was a thing. You know what I don't have? I don't have a 1 inch piece of webbing to use as a gauge here. Let me go grab that. And we're back. 2 feet over there was a piece. I am going to make my stitch pattern a little bit smaller. If you are sewing a bunch of the same stuff right in line, like this webbing is 1 inch, the space is 1 inch, the next piece of webbing is 1 inch, and you're falling short or long, you can adjust your stitch pattern smaller or just a little larger so that it falls perfectly. And that's what I just did. That's why I said I'm going to change my stitch pattern. So. If you're not really good at this stuff yet, especially laying in PALS webbing like this, you can staple things in place. You can also hot glue. London Bridge, for a long time, would hire disabled service members. And they would, a lot of their job was hot gluing and stapling things in place prior to sew production. I saw that on a lot of their videos, so I thought that was pretty cool. We had some girls learning to sew, and when we would sew the combat cocks, the tail was 3 layers deep plus a piece of webbing. So I would stage all of that and staple it together. So all they had to do was grab, instead of grabbing 3 separate pieces and a piece of webbing, and index them, and then put them and sew them on the panel, they would just grab the assembly already with a staple through it and put it on. And that did speed things up for a while, until the one girl that was sewing, most of them got a lot better. And she's like, hey, you don't have to do that anymore. I can just do that. That girl was like a gremlin, so we won't speak her name because she will reappear every few years. She shows back up, comes in, does a really good job, and then goes crazy. I think it's the meth monster. I'm spacing every few of these just to tack them down because they'll be way faster when I go back and sew them in between after the fact. Because they're already locked in line. You'll notice I'm also clipping all of these as I go. I can do it now or do it later, and it's faster to do it now. I know I didn't get that other one right here. It'll be okay. Are you posting things to the TikTok account?
I haven't posted any of the podcast stuff in a while.
I keep getting notifications that people are commenting on it.
Still blows up constantly. Like the last two I posted or something, just like, I don't know how they got so many comments.
Like I don't even go on, I haven't been on TikTok in a year probably.
It's like the one app I don't think converts. It's the only app I don't think that converts.
Yeah, apparently, isn't it TikTok's supposed to be surrendered or taken down or something, and Meta runs it now? Meta owns it?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure Congress said that's the case or something.
I just never find myself scrolling on TikTok. I would never. But I or just Instagram. A lot of people enjoy. TikTok is a lot of
Victims. Victims.
Yeah.
Lots of victims.
Dancing as well.
A lot of tucked penises, it seems. Serial killers. See how much faster that middle line was by just skipping them?
Yeah, because you don't have to gauge those.
Yeah, because they're pretty well in place. I mean, you can definitely get them to shift, but if you just push down on it, it'll hold all that in place while you tack it, and then right to the next one. Now, if I did, because I sewed all these top to bottom, had I flipped the work, you might notice it the other direction with a little bit of waviness. When we sew a lot of these, if we were doing, say, a run of 24 or so, we wouldn't be clipping these threads. We would take them between stages of build and hand them to the clip table, and somebody would stand there and just cut all those threads off of there. And then they would go back to sewing, back to production, and they would sew the next piece, because the next piece will be basically a pocket that covers all this, and you can't get down there and clip and clean it. So you got to cut all that stuff prior. Somebody say, what are you doing? And you're like, I'm at Sew Church. John's giving me a sew lesson right now. We'll go ahead and put a label here. I always forget the label. So we'll go ahead and put this on while I'm thinking about it. Oh, you don't want that pink one. I thought that was red. There we go. We'll go traditional SOE red logo. I ordered OD green ones, and I have never seen them show up. I don't know where the hell they're at. I ordered them the same time I ordered these red ones.
Do you have enough that you won't really run out of them?
No, man. I order them 10,000 at a time, and we order them every couple months. We've always got a reoccurring order going. We go through between 6,000 and 10,000 a month, and it's a trip. It's like I always heard McDonald's knows how many sodas they sold by how many cups. They inventory the cups, not the syrup. I can't show you 10,000 pieces of work ever, but we go through 10,000 labels like every 6 weeks. All right, there's that. That's what the face of this is going to look like. And the back looks not as cool. The back has, is there Velcro on both sides? No Velcro here. Velcro on this piece from the hem down. Man, Cody had all that bundled together, and I ripped all that hook out, and now it's stuck to all the loop Velcro. All right, I'm just gonna eyeball this here. I want one more stitch. I'm gonna pull that over. There we go. I'm pulling on the material a little bit down and kind of over just to get it to flatten out. Because if it's puckered up and you sew all this Velcro on, it's going to be puckered up when the Velcro is all sewn on. So there's that. That's what that looks like. I've got individual boxes, but I do have extra dark areas where I tacked over. I'm going to go ahead and follow this whole perimeter around just so that it looks all uniform. Looks pretty perfect. All right, there we go. You can put an X through the middle of all this if you want to. Doesn't need it. This is all just here. We're going to put whatever on. Really what goes on this is, this will be a Velcro adjustable holster or whatever holster you want that has Velcro on it. You can reach in here and cross draw the pistol, and then the face of that laptop case is right here, right? So that's what that is. This go right here. I think I need to make this lower. Yeah, I need at least an inch down. I need this to be, oh, I didn't put the handles on here yet. Did I put, no, I did not, okay. What did we say that was, 4.5?
4.5.
Front 1 inch from the edge, 4.5. All right, so this is 16 inches, so 8. Two and a quarter this way, 2 1/4 this way. Connect the dots. 1 inch from the edge. I'm going to make my box X's 1.5 inch. I backspace there because it looked like it missed a stitch. All right, there's that. There's that hook Velcro again. I'm gonna set this down a little bit right here. I want it right there, which is 1 inch. You can see I'm overhanging here. I'm going to billow this a little bit with a little pleat once that's there. If you're using contrast thread, you might want to sew closer to the edge in case you don't come in that far when you actually put this bag all together. I'm going to sew right there. Now I'm going to push this excess. I'm going to start here at the corner, make sure my pleat lines up where this one is so they look uniform. There we go. You could totally make this pocket wider both ways and then have pleats in this piece also, which makes it, you know, have more room inside the pocket. There's that. There will be a snap here and here through this 3 layers here. That way you can reach across, get your hand in there still, pop those snaps, grab that cross draw if you use it for that. So there's that. I do, because this was supposed to be single layer and I doubled it, I do need to get 2 more pieces of this. So I'll be right back. Pierre's kid's first gun should be a 1911 with like some shin bone grips, like human shin bone or something. Something, you know, something classy. Something fancy. All right, let's see. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this out of here right now. Dispose of that in a safe manner. What are you doing this weekend?
I know I'm going on a hike.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on a hike. We're not sure which state.
Don't know yet. There's a couple that we have on the to-do list, and I know she was wanting to get up tomorrow.
I'm going to pick up a flock of flamingos.
Which state?
Whichever zoo is closest.
Oh, okay.
They don't seem to control their flamingos.
I've never seen a flamingo.
They're just there for the taking.
The flamingos are always pink?
No, they actually have to eat krill, something with chitosan in them, right? They actually have to eat a shellfish that is what puts the color in them.
Are they just usually white?
They are just white, yeah. They actually are. A lot of times they're in like mud flats, like where the water goes out, right? So they're eating all the creatures in the ground there. So a lot of times they're like dirty color. But there's a product, a feed that the zoo gets that actually makes them turn pink, if I remember correctly.
I've been seeing a lot of people dyeing their dog.
Buying what?
Like dyeing their dog's fur.
I've been seeing people tattooing dogs and shit. Have you seen all that? Like,
Like putting them to sleep and tattooing them?
I don't know how they're doing it, but there's a lot of like pit bulls and stuff, like Mexican. I assume it's like gang members and shit have. And then like children, babies, young kids with tattoos and shit, with like gang tattoos and shit. You haven't seen that? No, I've only seen it on the internet, but I mean, I've seen it for several years. I don't think it's AI or anything. I do like the phenomenon of all the animals converging at the trampoline.
Do you think like generations like my dad, who's never really seen the internet, even though he probably he's still of age to where he should know, do you think that there's just a bunch of people running around thinking that every single thing they see in AI is real?
I think it's real.
Well, I know, but so
I thought those animals were actually jumping on the trampoline.
So imagine if you even think they're real.
Hell yeah.
It's like my dad thinks.
Yeah, what makes you think they're not real?
Well, I mean, that's 100% not real.
Huh?
Because I can see it.
You can see what?
The trampoline videos?
Those are real.
Those are completely fake.
No, they're not.
Completely fake.
The ones when they had like 20 rabbits, that's probably not real.
It's completely fake.
But with the animals showing up, jumping, I think it's real.
It's completely fake.
They took it too far. They had me until the animals were jumping up and doing backflips and shit.
And then going through the trampoline.
I thought I could see that happening. Somebody has a trampoline sitting around. Like I remember going through a trampoline as a kid. My foot like falling through it.
Let's assume there's a bunch of old people out there thinking that
Yeah, absolutely.
there's just bears running around in Walmart shopping and stuff.
Well, I think there is bears running around in Walmart.
Shopping?
I don't know about shopping. If I had a bear, I'd take it to Walmart with me. Yeah, why not? They saw Yogi Bear as a kid. They probably think that's probably real now.
He was like, there has to be some backstory of realism to this.
Well, I mean, think about how they take advantage of elderly people with the Nigerian scams and shit, right?
Yeah.
How many, like, just bank accounts, how much they just, wiped out elderly people. Sure, there's probably somebody that thinks all that AI shit's real. I mean, I probably think a lot of shit I send. I would send stuff to Isaac, and he's like, yeah, that's from GTA 27. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, that motorcycle really just crashed into that car and, like, killed that dude died. He's like, no, it's from a video game from, like, 4 years ago. I'd rather it be real. Like Bigfoot doing all that crazy shit, all those interviews with those white girls and shit. Yeah, I think that's probably reality.
I want you to hold on to that for a long time.
What?
And that you just believe in it and you need it.
Yeah, like the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus. People would say, I don't believe in guns. And James Yeager would be like, you mean like the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus? Like, you think it doesn't exist? They definitely exist. I can show you 4 of them right now. That's what he's like, I got 3 of them on me right now. Does it feel like this is taking forever? I feel like it's taking forever.
It's taken.
I don't think
when
we're
I
gonna.
saw the back though, I was like, that's a task.
I'm gonna scoot this down here and cut some off this. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna finish this today.
Well, at least next week we'll be able to
Do the video at
put
the same
all the
time with
costume
it.
and everything together and have it all done.
Yeah, I gotta go get a
White shirt.
nerd costume.
You not have a white collared shirt?
Do I look like I own a fucking white collared shirt?
Sleeve, like with the sleeves. I own one.
You own one?
Yeah. Not with the sleeves like that.
Like,
sleeve.
like this is what I wear to church when I go to church.
I have like a fitted custom like suit with 2 shirts. So that's it. That's like the only one I got.
I have some Alexander McQueen shirts and a bunch of True Religion jeans and nice shoes and shit.
It's the same thing I'm showing up to a wedding at.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm with you. I am not buying any more clothes to go to any people's shit. I have plenty of nice shit. If I can't wear shit I own, I don't belong there. I have very nice clothes.
I always tell people, I'm like, the clothes is the worst part of me. The best part of me.
None of my clothes look like I wear them to work.
My face tattoos negate any suit that I could wear. When was the last time you sold these? Had them actually for sale outside.
I don't think we've ever sold them in this building. So 10, 12 years maybe? I keep saying we've been in this building 10 years. I think we've been in the building longer. Because I'm always surprised when it pops up. Like every now and then YouTube shows me my old videos as recommended videos, which is weird. And I'm always surprised how long ago those videos were.
Yeah, because like 6 years ago, when I first met you, you would always say like.
I was thinking about that the other night too. I'm like, I actually woke up in the morning and I was thinking about, for some reason, how long you had been coming, how long you'd been around.
Yeah.
And it was surprising how long it has been.
And then, but I was thinking when I first came here, you had been saying like, oh, we've been in this building for like, 7 or 8 years.
Especially since you've been coming around all this time and you haven't won a pro bodybuilding competition yet. I really had that on your list.
Oh yeah.
Kind of.
Well, I'm waiting for Masters over 50 class.
Got it. All right, there is the back. There will be snaps here. There will be a piece that holds this closed. Same with this. This is the front. This is the back. This is actually the majority of making this. Building the zipper piece is actually very simple at this point. What time is it?
We are at 4:50.
4:50. We'll go ahead and shut down for today, and we'll come back next week and we'll do part 2. When you see this video, it'll all be comprised in one, except I'll be wearing a different shirt. All right, guys, last week we left off building the 15-inch laptop bag. Here is the back piece. Here is the front piece. Right now I'm going to build the zipper and tie it in to make the frame of the bag, basically. And I'm going to make the padded divider that goes inside the bag. That's what I'm about to do right now. As always, putting the zipper on. You guys have seen me do that dozens and dozens of times, hundreds, thousands of times. I'm going to sew it upside down, facing in on the edge, just because I can see both edges here. And I've got just a tiny, the slightest amount of tension on this zipper. And I'm just running this through my fingers here, not pulling on it. And then just applying a tiny bit of pressure to the zipper. And it's important when you put the other side on that you do the same. Otherwise, one side will be stretched out and the other side will be pulled up. When I cut my zipper, I always cut it about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch longer. If we're doing a bunch of stuff, if we were building multiples of these bags, I wouldn't even cut the zipper. I would just run it all off of the chain behind me. So there's that. Now, I don't have a zipper foot on here. I've never even used a zipper foot. A zipper foot basically doesn't have this inside piece that lets you get closer. I am just running this and I'm not even guiding it. The machine is just chugging along there and following that track. And then as we're at the end here, flip it over. Looks pretty good. Almost like we had some form of edge guide or something on there, but there, as you see, there's not. Same thing here. I'm not going to attach this zipper yet. I'm not going to detach this zipper yet. I am going to start this in the exact same manner. You could start staggered and then even them up. I'm going to start where they're even and try to pull with the same amount of tension. They should come out perfectly. And as you see, it did land almost perfect. I'm off by maybe a 1/4 inch. We can make that work. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. Still connected. Tension should be the same. And I'm just going to let the foot follow the track. Look, Mom, no hands. There we go. Ooh, I sewed it on the wrong side. I can't even imagine how I did that. We'll have to take that one off. All right, I'm going to even this up with the edge of this with the edge of that zipper. You can sew the inside if you wish, or the outside, either way. If you had a double needle machine, it would do all of this in one pass with a proper folder and foot. You'll see that I put 4 lines of stitching in each side of my zipper track. You'll see a lot of companies do it just in 2 lines of stitching. You'll see other companies do it just with 1. On the other hand, we've never had a zipper come undone that's come in for repair either. I would say learn how to do it the way I do it, and then once you're good at it, you can look at speeding it up or cutting, corners if you decide that you don't need all of that. Now I'm just following this edge here. See, I sewed it on the wrong side. How are we going to get that out of there? We're going to get it out of the way we're going to get it out of there the way we always have.
I need to nick that thread where I sewed in there to begin with. And the other one here, because that's doubled over, I tacked that in there. It's locked in. I'm not getting it. Move that fan off of me, please. Thanks. There we go. Nick the thread, pull the work. Nick the thread, pull the work. This way, when you go to pull all that out of there, you've got long pieces of thread that are going to come out, and you don't have to pick out each individual thread.
It's like the more you nick it, the little sections out.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. You can nick that. You could cut those couple stitches too with your scissors. I'm not pulling on this real hard. I could grab it and just rip it, but I don't want to stretch these pieces out and making them longer than the other side. Ordinarily, I would not do this. I would just go get a whole nother piece and start over, but I want you guys to see this. If you're watching these videos, you're probably just starting out sewing, and you're not going to have a bunch of material sitting around where you can just not use that extra piece. And I keep moving this up just so that it's under the light here so I can see what I'm doing. So from this side here, if you just take that razor blade and just scrape across there gently, it will pull all of those threads out of there for the most part. It'll clean this right up. You can do them by hand. You can do, it's yours. You can do whatever you want. This is how I do it. For a very long time, we were not buying rolls of zipper and rolls of material. We were buying yards of material and one roll of zipper. So it was very important to be able to use everything that we purchased. So if you get good at this, it'll make you better in the future, doing all this menial little stuff. And the more cleanup you do now, the less time you're going to spend later. If you don't clean all this up and you sew it, it's going to take you 3 or 4 times as long to get all this shit out of here. See, each one of those comes out long because I pulled on them and it basically unstitched it for several stitches. Which also shows you right here why you tack things in. That keeps that from being able to happen if you were to nick a stitch. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to put it back on the same side I already sewed. I'm going to use the same zipper right here. I'm going to tack it right in the first couple stitches, and now I'm just going to let it run. I am not applying any tension to this because it's already been under tension and sewn in place. I'm just running these through so that it kind of indexes it as I get there. When you're doing this and you're not real good at it yet, just look at all your work as several inches of work at a time. Don't worry about back here. We're just looking at from here to here. And you'll see I keep putting my finger down there. That's holding it in place for that few inches. There we go. Now I'm going to turn it around. I'm just going to let the edge of that foot follow the track of this zipper. And then we'll go as fast as the machine can go. You'll see full speed here. Out of thread. If you go to pull this out and it won't come out, just rotate a little bit, it'll come out. I leave this still tacked in right here so that I can see easily where I started and stopped, where I stopped at, left off. I like my thread right here, coming out the bottom. I hold the bobbin here and pull tension on the thread. I click this in. This right here, this scarf, that piece that the thread goes under, clicks right there. And then that arrow, this is an arrow right here, right? That is pointing towards me when I put it in the machine. Clicks in place. I'm gonna hold, I'm gonna rotate down until it picks that thread up. I'm gonna pull this back and I'm going to wipe this out with the tip of my scissors there. I already know where I've stopped at. I'm gonna come back a couple stitches from where it ended. I'm gonna tack that in a couple and back, and I'm going to just continue. That's as fast as this machine will go right now. I should have started my bobbin, especially while I was straight running like that, wide open. I'm going to come from the bottom. I'm going to wrap around a couple times, 3, 4, 5 wraps. I'm going to take the tail of this thread and put it through these. A lot of these bobbins have a cut or a slice to put your thread. A lot of bobbins do not. Just hold that in place when you're sewing until it wraps around enough times and you can rip this off. You don't want this tail getting wiped back in here and wrapped up inside this bobbin. Your sewing machine will try to pick this up instead of the thread that you want it to pick up. Let's go ahead and detach here. Let's go back to where we'd left off and get both of these sliced off, cut off clean on both sides. There we go. Going to go ahead and fold this back over now. Tacked in, and now I'm folding this and getting this lined up right on the edge is what I'm doing here. And I'm just holding a little tension there. And I'm going to let this travel, and I'm going to let it follow the edge of the chain. I'm going to go back over here, hold my thread on the bobbin, and I'm going to start pulling out at the same time as it's winding, and it'll pull right off of there. That bobbin is a little loose on there. If that's the case, and I don't know why that is, I'm going to go ahead and just put a screwdriver in here. This is split. This peg here is split. I'm just going to jam that in there a little bit, and it's going to open that peg up, and now that's going to hold. I'm going to pull that back there. Now that bobbin's winding. Everything's out of the way. I'm not going to think about it till it's full and it clicks off. Heard that click off. That pop was the bobbin was already, took that long to fill up. It filled up that quickly because I was sewing full speed here. This machine, this motor will sew much faster. The machine will not keep up with the speed of the motor much faster. All right, when you're doing this, you might want to just kiss that a little bit with the flame, get that fuzz off of there. It might help you if you're not really good at zipping these up to start with. I'm going to put this in here. You will feel when you hit that track, there's a piece up in here. You will feel when it's there. There we go. It's probably 4 or 5 teeth are inside that side of the pull. I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to look at it. Am I even? I am not. I'm going to just back this zipper up a little bit until I can get it to where it's about even. Looks about equal on both sides. Now I'm going to try to zip it. It's not, there it goes. It just clicked in. I'm going to go ahead and zip it all the way down to here. Am I even? I am not. I am off by about a 1/2 inch. Can I even it up a little bit here? I could. I'm not going to be too concerned with it. I'm going to come over here. Now, this one definitely has to start on the right side because the right side's a little longer. I'm going to get that in here. Try to zip this up. It is not wanting to zip up. It's catching on all this fuzz right here. I'm going to go ahead and kiss that off of there with that flame. Now, we will just push this in here. It is there. When it zips, does it zip even? It does. I can get a little more. I can get this side out a little more, my left side. Pull it in. And now I got too much. There we go. That's where I want to be. Looks about even. You can see there's a little more pull here. That'll work though. This is where I rolled over it with my chair. Chair's out here on this dirty floor. So there we go. This is the bottom. On these sides here, I have a shoulder strap right here. And I have some elastic right here. So let's go ahead and build this. On this shoulder strap, this is a very, very old sample. This is in 1000. This very well could have come from San Diego even. I was not, no, I was, okay. So here's what I was gonna show you. I didn't think these were on here. See how loose these are? I make these a lot tighter now. I want these to stay in place. What would happen was when I would take this happened like at Starbucks or at a sandwich shop or whatever, I'd have this briefcase with me and I'd go in, it would fall over on the ground and these would come separate. I put these elastic keepers on here to keep this kind of as one. You can't sew it as one because you still need the adjustment. I can take this and put it on a massive person all the way out to over 60 inches, or I can keep this up tight and close to the body or put it on a real skinny person, small female, child, whatever, and adjust it down. I no longer use 1.5 inches on these, even though the cut list. I'm gonna go get 2-inch pieces because the 2-inch holds them a little bit better, and I don't make them loose like this anymore. And you will see this nose here is about there. I make it so that this goes all the way in and touches the other side. That gives a little friction, and it keeps this from being able to come off and rotate, which it could in how we used to do it. So I'm gonna go grab some webbing, and basically these keepers, if you're using an 1.5 inch strap, I want these keepers to be at 6 inches. And right now you can see that that's probably at like 4 inches right there, maybe 5. I want it to be all the way. So I'm gonna go get some 2-inch and then I'll build this strap here. And this is just process of elimination. I had these pieces, so we might as well go ahead and build them right there. I did not cut this on a hot knife. So I'm just going to burn this. When you're burning elastic, remember it's rubber. It smokes, it stinks. If you cut very much of it in your living room, you're gonna have a cloud, you're gonna smell it. We have draw fans out there. There is a box that has a fan and a hose built to it that has a filter in it. Amazon sells them, they're like 60 bucks. And it'll actually suck up and filter most of that smoke and that smell. I start by sewing these on the edge here. I just take a piece of 1.5 inch webbing because that's the width of the shoulder strap. And I sew this piece here, tack that in. I call that the nose. And then you can zigzag over or straight sew across, whatever you want to do, doesn't matter. And I'm going to stop, I don't know, I'm probably 1/8 away from the edge of this webbing here. Although down here it looks like it's closer, so. even doing those at 6, it doesn't look like it's twice as much as the width. So these here, I now take this, I'm going to burn these whiskers off of here, and I flip this back into itself so that it's inside. Let's go ahead and try to lace this up and see. I might not have it tight enough. Right there. Oh, I didn't realize that was a second little piece. So the way this goes is when I lace these, I put one through one side, and when it laces back to the buckle, I come back through the other side. And that being in there, it keeps this from spinning around and your strap from twisting. And it puts tension on there also so that this keeper stays in place where you put it. You can make yours tighter or looser, however you want to do it, but that's about perfect right there. When you do these on smaller things, like our vehicle med bag has a 1-inch strap on it. Because the reason it has a 1-inch strap on the vehicle med bag is because where we sew the hardware and the webbing, we can't fit an 1.5 inch piece. So we use a 1-inch. And we put these on there, but they're tight, and because it's such a small area to work with, you actually have to get a pair of hemostats in there to pull that webbing through. On these 1.5 inch ones, it's a lot easier to do. So to do the shoulder strap, I take this tri-glide, lock it here, just feed it through there, and I'm gonna fold this under here. I got about 1 inch under. I'm gonna move it down. That gives me about another inch of adjustment out of the shoulder strap by running this closer. And I'm just gonna sew 3 lines of stitching there, zigzag over here, 3 lines of stitching there. You can do a box X, you can do whatever you want. If you're doing a ton of them, you could just run them all in line and then put the second line and not zigzag over. Do them whatever you want to do. Now, I'm going to feed these behind that webbing, nose up. You can do yours nose down, whatever, it doesn't matter as long as the outcome's the same. So there it is in the back. I'm going to feed the buckle on the end. And now I'm going to feed these through the top. Right there. And then the same thing here. And you'll see exactly how those work now. Looking at this shoulder strap, I'll probably change the pattern and make it so that it will adjust bigger. I just had Cody change the cut list to change these 1.5 inch elastics to 2 inch. Like I said, we've not built this. It's probably been 10 years since we've built one of these bags. Also, you guys will see that I just keep putting this thread through this foot without putting it through the eye. That's because this foot has a split foot on it. I really like that on this machine. I like it so much I ordered some others, and they're not the same. I don't like the ones that we got. And I've not been able to find this one. I'm not really even sure what the difference is. I think that the split is much larger in the other ones. So there's the shoulder strap, just like so. Now I need to figure out where I'm going to sew the shoulder strap on. If you're not real sure, you could put this together and then turn it once it's all together and sew it on. It'll definitely be easier to figure it out ahead of time though. And we know that this webbing is, these PALS webbing spaces are 1.5 inch. So I've got from center, I've got 3, 6, 7.5 to the edge. because this is 15 inches across. So we can find center right here. Because it will be easier to sew them on right now before you have more bulk. And it doesn't matter which side I do this on because they're the same. So the way I have these built is I just have it captive here, and then I've just got this up underneath so that the raw edges are concealed. And I'm going to sew this right here. And I'm actually coming into the zipper track to sew this. We just don't have a lot of room to work with on this. So having these here, this will hit the corner. You could come up a little further. I'm going to do them right here at the corner though. We've never put this bag out with a handle on it. We've never seen anybody take the shoulder strap off of it, although that could be because there's no handle on it. I don't like sewing through the zipper. I have no choice though. I actually might regret putting these on right now. I might wish that I had put them on after the bag's together because I don't have a lot of room to work with right here on the edge. And that buckle will probably end up being in the way. So I did not travel down. Let's lock this in here. I'm gonna come back from that corner. So I'm so close to the corner here, this foot won't let this turn, which is why I zigzag over like I did. And then I sew from here. I'm gonna back it up as far as it'll go and then come forward there. This is very similar to why we put the 1-inch shoulder strap on the vehicle med bag, because it has even less material to work with there. I'm going to leave that other one off. We'll put it on after the fact and see which way was the better decision. I suspect it's going to be a whole lot easier to put it on after. So this is the inside. This bag is Odeon black. This is the inside here. You can see where my work was not even. I'm going to cut about 2 teeth of that zipper off of there. You don't have to, because it would just sit there inside. You wouldn't see it. I'm about to conceal all that right here. So this one on the inside is face up, then the zipper tracks, and then this one that will be the outside is face down. I'm going to sew with my foot right on the edge there. So I end up being just a touch more than 1/4 inch inside here, just like that. And once this is done, this will flip this way. And then we'll sew over this and it'll be super clean. You won't see any of that. All the edge of the zipper and the work is a good 1/4 inch or more inside here. You can set your patterns to where you're 1/2 inch, whatever you want it to be. Now, you also could do, I call it an alligator mouth, where we hem both these edges on top and bottom, and then we sew it about 1 inch back, and then we just take that edge and we put it inside that alligator's mouth. I'm not going to do that. Some stuff is so small you almost have to do it that way. What I'm going to do is do the exact same thing mirrored over here. I'm going to bring this piece over here, and you're going to see this is not going to want to do that because I have so much bulk here. I'm going to push this out of the way, and I'm going to set this right here, and then do the same thing I just did over there. Now, watch this. Now, nice and clean. Everything's concealed as far as the edges of the zipper. And now I'm going to pull bottom and top equally because I don't want this to be more here. I don't want to have this flap, thus making it not equal on the other side. So I want to pull evenly. I'm going to tack that down. I'm going to travel across that zipper, and I'm going to tack that back down. Right there. And I'm going to come down 1 stitch or 2 stitches, depending on how much meat you have in there. And I'm going to travel right back across there. And then I'm going to come back over that top line again. I should have left it connected and just traveled over. So we'll go ahead and do that as though we didn't connect it. I'm putting a little tension here. I'm starting to even both those pieces out. Right there. Now I'm going to make sure that they're both equal. I'm going to come 1 stitch over. I would tell you to sew across and then all the way down and then come back and do these other lines. All right, there we go. I'm cutting the top, cutting the bottom, disconnecting everything, getting all these extra threads off. Do your cleanup as you go. There we go. So that's the bottom. Those are the sides. This is the top. This is basic. I call this the frame. So there we go. And this has this piece on the bottom, which is what puts that foam cradle in there. Are these all the same sizes? Five, 6, 7. Yep. I did make them so that the cut list was all the same part. And then this is going to sit right in the center here, hopefully. I do have it just a touch off from the edge there. And then I'm going to get a little shrinkage. So I'm going to sew it rather than being right on the edge of that zipper. You know what I forgot? No, I got the zipper pulls in. I was going to say I forgot the zippers. All right. Can you see it right there where I'm not all the way to the edge? Okay, no. It is here, right? But as we sew it, it's going to shrink up just a little bit. I could pull it and stretch it out. It didn't shrink as much as I thought it was going to. So there's no foam in this right here because we put a cradle in here basically that has the foam in it. So there's that. I've got a little hanging off right here. I'm going to just come back an inch or so and trim right into that edge. There we go. And then which side is the front and back? The back side is the part that has the buckles. So we want to make sure that we get that to the back side, which will be right here. Let's go ahead and find our center marks. We know this is 15, so this should be right at 7.5. Let's go ahead and measure that just in case. Nope, that's 8, so I'm at 16. Good thing I measured that. If I'm 7.5 here, I need to go 1/4, 7.5 1/4, there we go. I'm still at 8, and I went 7.5 1/4 over here. Why is this doing this? Nope, I'm good right there. All right. Okay. All right. We really should go put the snaps in this right now. We can do it. Let's go do that. Let's get the snaps put in here real fast. This is where we do everything hot cutter. This is a rope cutter, Weller soldering iron gun. This is the one to get. It's 300, 200. They have one bigger. You can't get a blade in there. You could probably fab something. The one that's 200, 250, or the lower one, way undergun. Get the one that's 300, 200. It's on Amazon sometimes. Sometimes you got to order it other places. You'll be much happier with this one. And you want to use that blade right there. Soldering iron, you can get a cheapie. If you're going to do this for any length of time, you'll burn them out quickly. You want a Weller soldering station. This thing will go 750 degrees. And here, I'm going to burn through this hemmed over piece and this handle, but not through the inner pocket. At least that's what I hope we're going to do. We're at 330. It really won't punch a hole through this until you're about 400. At least this one reads 400. That's when this really starts heating up. We're at 500. There we go. 600. There it goes. 670. So that's all I need is that hole there. And this hole here. This top is going through 3 layers of Cordura. And the bottom cap is going through a piece of webbing and 2 pieces of Cordura. So those won't ever pull out of there. So there we go. You do not have to have a kick press like this to do these. You can do this with a hand setter and a hammer. Wherever you buy your snaps from will have several options to attach your snaps. This is all called durables. Anytime you have any of these grommets and eyelets and everything, those are all durables. And you're looking for a fastener company. That's who sells these. You can buy, you know, a handful here and there on the internet, but you can also buy directly. They're not expensive. Guys make a fortune buying, you know, 10,000 pieces and then selling you 100 pieces. By the time they sell to a couple customers, they've paid for all the entire order. So do your research, find your company. If I just burn that hole, it's a little small. I could push that through there, but just get you an awl and it'll open that hole up. So there's that. Did I put that cap in there? I think I did. These are kind of spring loaded. These lock into, yeah, there's already one in there. So this post is up. Goes right here. This spring loaded cup, I just push it down. I'm going to come down till I feel it seat, and then I'm just going to push it forward that extra inch, and that pushes that over, rolls that over nice and clean. You can find these. They're called kick presses. You'll see them on Marketplace for sale. So where I burned that, it pushed all that material through there and made that little volcano. I'm going to just slice that off of there. And these snaps just hold this pocket closed because the pocket is Velcro lined, and you can put a cross draw holster or anything else in there really that you just don't, you want to be able to get to it easily, but you don't want eyeballs to see it easily. There we go. So, just do all the material. It will never rip that snap out of there. That just snaps closed. These are not push the dot snaps, they're just snaps. And you can get your hand down in here and rip this open should you need to get that holster or whatever is affixed to that Velcro field there. It'd be a lot easier to put those snaps in this without all the bulk of the entire bag. I have rolled over this with those dirty ass chair wheels. All right, back and back. Why is this the back of the bag? Simply because we've already sewn this handle piece on here. I'm going to come from the center right here. I'm going to tack this right here. And I'm just going to travel. I'm not stretching either piece. I'm just letting it lay where it lays without tension on it. I'm going to come right here to this corner. Literally right to the edge. Back it up. Turn it around. Right to the corner. Track it back to the center. Now I've got 2 complete lines across the top. We're going to go ahead and cut these out while we're right here. No cleanup needed now. Right there. Now, this is what I was talking about fighting. You've got this bulk right here. We have plenty to sew, but over here, because there's no hardware, we can sew it in, and then before we put the other side in, we can just flip this out and sew that in there. I'll show you that here now. I'm going to come right back here, and I'm going to sew right back up to the corner, literally right to the corner, and I'm going to just pivot this 90 degrees, and this crease right here will be 45. And I'm going to just tack this right in here. There we go. Now we can sew that other piece right in here. Let's go ahead and sew this one on, show you what it looks like. I'm already fighting that. Now let's go ahead and get that other line put in there. Cut all the threads off flush. Before I cut this off, I'm holding tension and I'm cutting it flush. That way there's no cleanup there. I don't need to burn any whiskers or anything there. And then when this flips, that's what the corner looks like. This sits perfectly right here at the corner. Now, can we get this one to look identical to the other side? You could even pre-sew this assembly prior to sewing it on if you wanted to. I'm still too far to make that turn. All right. Can we get that right there? Now this one we ran into the zipper, so I'm going to bring this out a little more. I've got it upside down. Let's start it over again here. All right, that's where it needs to go, right here. Man, I think it would have been easier just to put it on ahead of time.
Yeah.
A lot of guys will fight that though if you're not really used to that. There we go. Does that look about perfect? It does. Yeah, it does. So I would try them both ways if you're doing something like this where you have to put these on. I want the 1.5 inch hardware on here because I want a wider shoulder strap. I don't want a 1 inch shoulder strap on this. So that's how I'm doing this. I want this to be buckles that will come on and off. You could definitely put 1 inch hardware with a 1 inch loop and then use a spring gate that you can get a spring gate that then has 1.5 inch shoulder strap slots for webbing on there. You have options. So there's that. Now I'm going to sew across the bottom. Make sure that this pattern set is, that I've sewn this how the pattern set should be. I might have a little too much or not enough across the bottom here, depending on how I did that hem. I do have a little bit too much. I should have sewn more material into here, but that's all right. I'll get this to work here. We'll just have a little extra on both sides that we'll kind of put into little tiny pleats that you won't see. So, we're probably going to come out about perfect. I've got just a little tiny bit extra right here. I'm going to pleat this in right here. Go ahead and sew up that corner there. I'll come back across this. When I'm done here, we'll re-sew this again. Go ahead and get that off of there. There's that extra. I'm just going to sew this down here, and then I'm going to flip it over to where I can make that pleat the same as I did the other one. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it probably doesn't matter to you. So I've got this extra little bit of material right here, and I'm going to stage this to where it's underneath right here. At least I think I'm going to. There we go. Go ahead and catch that entire line because I didn't double it up while I was there the first time. What does it look like over here? I do want to tag back in. I sewed this down here. I don't want this last stitch right here. And I'm cutting the stitch, not the work. And I'm going to come down, tack that in, and then follow this line. There we go. Lunch ready? Yes. All right. All right, let's take a look here. This is what this looks like. When we come back here in a minute, we will put the face on, and the body of the bag will be complete. This is the back of the bag. There's that pocket. And this is what I was talking about here. You see how I have just this little extra pucker, this little extra wrinkle? That's what that was. And I haven't built this pattern set in a long time. And back then I wasn't even really cognizant of it. But what would take care of that is this, where I only came 1/4 inch in, it should have been a 1/2 inch. So that would have taken all that excess out. And the next bag will look completely clean. Whoever gets this bag will have no idea that's there unless they watch this video. We'll be back in a minute. All right, we've put the back on. Now we're going to do the same thing and just put the face on. And that will complete the bag, and then we will build the padded sleeve that goes inside. So I've already got my center marks here and here. We have center marks here and here because of when we put the pals on. Now we'll start from the center. There we go. Now we will sew back here. I am just one stitch past that edge. I want to cut that one stitch out of there, so there it goes, so that we can get this to lay in here a little nicer, right at 45 degrees there. I know we didn't double sew that other side. We'll go back and get it. There's that excess little meat right there. You know, just tuck that in right there. Flip it. So I'm sewing the same direction here. I'm going to flip it over where that extra material is so I can make the pleat look like the same as the opposite side does. Right there. There's that excess. I'm going to tuck that right there. Is this the side I didn't double? No, it's not. There we go. I'll go ahead and catch this side that I did not double stitch. You'll see I always cut the top thread and then the bottom thread rather than keep cutting them separate. When you cut them separate, you still have those tags on there like this that you have to then go back and get all of those also. If you're edge taping these, maybe you don't have to, but a lot of times they're still gonna stick out. So there's the bag all the way together. Just like so. And now you can edge tape it if you want to, or whatever you're going to do with it. And it's still kind of slouchy, kind of just sloppy, just hangs wherever. Once we put the divider in there, it will kick everything out and it'll have a rigidity to it. It'll have an actual structure and a shape to it. And then there's the shoulder strap attachments. This will look a lot better once we put that foam divider piece in there. Let's go ahead and get these while we're here. I just saw a big one over on the other side. Where's that? On the pals right here. Here it is. That jingling is driving me crazy. We're gonna have to cut those pulls off of there. All right, this is the foam set. This is the sleeve. You could sew this around the perimeter, flip it inside out, then place your foam, but I've got several channels we're gonna put in here. So I'm going to sew all 4 edges on both pieces, and then we will start to put it together. Just make your hems all the same size. You can do it. People always have some shit to say. They're like, well, I'll do my best. Your best is never the best. Come on. Just shut up and do it. If you think you can't, you're right. I'm getting a little pull right here for some reason. I'm going to nick a stitch here. I think I'm going to. I can't really see it. I'm getting a lot of shine off of the pat cloth there. I'll come inside here and get inside and cut one. Hopefully just one. Not slipping out of there. Let's drive that in there and hold that. There. All right. See that? I nicked one and it was under so much tension it pulled back like 10 stitches. Which is okay. I don't know why that tension's so weird right there. Looks like it jumped out of the bobbin or something, or caught up here or something. Same thing. I'm getting some. I'm going to take some tension off, see what's going on here. I don't know what's going on here, why this is doing this. Let's pull this bobbin, look at it. Yeah, there was like an extra loop in there for some reason. Getting towards the end, I'm going to go ahead and strip this out of here and just start a fresh bobbin. You can see how looped up it is because it's just so much tension when it's starting there. It's wound tighter. I'm going to sew a lot of Velcro onto this pack cloth here. So rather than fight the weird tension, we'll just put a fresh bobbin in there. And we will go from there. All right, there's that. Ideally, we duplicate this, and when we set them one over the other, they will be identical size. And if they're not, we will stretch it and make it fit. It'll be nice and tight, like the sleeve of a wizard.
The sleeve of a wizard.
You don't know about that? Have you not seen Borat? Her vagina.
I've never seen Borat.
Her vagina is like sleeve of wizard, hang like sleeve of wizard.
I've seen the clips and stuff of different things. I've just never sat down to watch.
My sister is #2 prostitute of all Kazakhstan. My cousin Bilo has a weird deformation. We keep him in a cage, and my sister tease him, no, you cannot get this. But one day he broke loose, and he get this. What?
Everybody getting pissed off about him getting in shape.
About Borat?
Yeah, the actor.
I didn't know he wasn't in shape.
He was just a normal-looking guy. He's like on the cover of Men's Health, and he's all like,
Oh no
has
shit!
his abs
Is it
everything.
Sasha something?
Yeah.
Cohen or
But
something?
he just got divorced, and everybody's like shaming him for saying like, "Oh, now you get in shape and do all this stuff."
Oh, what everybody always has some shit to say about something that doesn't affect them, right? Like I was watching a bunch of shit on Tim Kennedy. There's a couple YouTube channel out there, SF guys, and all they're making content, all of it is just trash talking Tim Kennedy. I don't know shit about Tim Kennedy. I don't fucking care about Tim Kennedy, but I was curious why and I looked at like their last, as far down as I could see on their videos. Their most viewed videos are them talking about Tim Kennedy. So you get Tim Kennedy, you get his SF tab pulled, or you get him in trouble or whatever. How does that make you any better? It doesn't improve your position at all. And that's that same shit with that dude. Now he's on Men's Health. I say, fuck, more power to you. Fucking badass. What dude doesn't want to be on the cover of a fucking magazine sometime in their life, right? But everybody has some shit to say about it?
Yeah, everybody's pissed off because.
Yeah, well, let's look at the people talking shit. How do they look?
Yeah, and also he said, "I'm getting in shape for a movie role. Like this is something I'm supposed to be doing."
Yeah, I mean, look at Renner or fucking Batman, Christian Bale, any of them dudes. They all fucking did that shit. Look at Jason Statham. Every time there's a movie, he has to, get in. He stays in pretty good shape. Jason Statham, he only weighs like 160 pounds. He's not a very big dude. All right. We know that this has hook Velcro on the bottom. Now, in the past, I didn't put Velcro on the inside walls. I'm going to put Velcro on this wall here. And that way it'll give you more options to use this for other things other than just having a gun in there. But this will stay the same. So we know we can go off center right here, and we know that this slot here is 3.5 inches is what it looks like. With it pulled up, might be 4. We're gonna go with 3.5. So we'll come off center, and we'll go 1 3/4 this way, and 1 3/4 this way. Pretty close.
Calibrated eye.
Calibrated eye. We have one piece of hook here. I do not want to put this on yet because it will stick to everything. We're going to throw this right way over here. All these pieces of Velcro are all going to be the same. We will now go ahead and start putting these on. By we, I mean me. I will start putting these on. Me and you. You. This really probably should be not right on the edge. Let's see where this is going to fall. Yeah, we should probably come a little further down. Now you're going to see all those hole punches through this material. It does not heal very well. Can you see it? Can you see it through the light? I don't know if the camera picks it up. I sure see it. You guys like these longer build videos? We could definitely cut out everything and probably whittle them down to 30 minutes. We could just do the whole thing as like jump cuts.
I know, the problem is you say some...
Yeah, there's stuff all through it.
Yeah, it's like when we're talking, you randomly will just say something that's probably pretty important to it.
I'm pretty terrible about that. I don't ever have a script for any of this stuff. And if I did, I wouldn't follow it anyway. I did notice YouTube will take everything I say and type it out. So if you're listening without the volume on, you can read it all.
Closed captions.
Yeah, subtitles or whatever. I do wish there was a way to speed it up to like 50% faster.
You can.
Without having to, when I want to slow it down, go back in and drop it down. When there's some important shit to hear, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot to this. You could, somebody was asking the other day, I think you were, about getting rolls of Velcro, right?
Yeah.
Like 60-inch wide rolls of Velcro. We could, and you could cut that and just sew that on and not have to sew. Well, we're going to sew 3, 6, 12, 18 strips of 3-inch. You could also use 6-inch Velcro on here and sew less. You could also use that display board wall stuff. It's very costly. You'll see these all look about perfect across here and here. We have a machine that cuts, a digital cutter. But if you don't have a digital cutter or a program cutter, just cut these on a paper cutter. They work great. You can just roll off the back, cut them loop side down, cut them from the back side, when we do it on the cutter, we cut them this way. And you can just mark them out with a ruler and then just, they cut very well that way. And consider that cutter to be a consumable. Every few months, if you're doing a lot of this stuff, you're gonna throw that cutter away, but they only cost like 35 bucks. Just when you get a dead spot, throw it away, get a new one. Just have a new one sitting on the shelf in a box. Same with your soldering irons and heat guns. We burn those out a lot. Mostly because my guys leave them on, right? It has a trigger, but we put rubber bands around it so we can just lock it in on place. And then guys walk away and leave it on. I have no idea how many hours we have on those, but we have a lot of hours. And they get left on. There are times when I have left for dinner on a Friday night and not looked again. It happened pass on a Saturday and hear it cycling and it'll like click. And I'm like, oh man, that thing's been left on for like 48 hours. So, but look at all those tools as just a consumable. I am disconnecting here. If we sewed the other way around, we could just run right into the next piece, but I'm right-handed. I always start this way. It's just faster for me trying to just do this than to try to do it in a faster manner, which is not faster for me. Plus, if you're watching my video, you're probably learning to sew or want to get better at sewing. And the fastest way to get better at sewing is, I know you're not going to believe this, but it's sewing. So sew a lot. Get those corners where you're sharp, where you're not missing corners, where it becomes second nature. You will learn by the tone of the sewing machine when you're about to run out of thread or when you are out of thread. If you're really good, you'll count all of your stitches. You will know that you can get 12,000 stitches out of a bobbin. You should know that, right? Google it. We should just start throwing out random stitch counts for each project.
Need to get a little thing that connects here that keeps track of it.
How many stitches?
Yeah, each stitch.
I'm sure I'm sure they have something for it. They have laser markers and all kinds of shit. All right, let's go ahead. Well, let's not throw this on yet. It'll still be connected on all kinds of shit. Let's get the other side here. And we don't need to make our marks on there because we will just do these and then we'll have what's left. We'll just half it at the bottom. If you know what I'm saying. If you're following, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, when I watch this video in a couple weeks, I probably won't know what I meant. See Amanda's new license plate.
Yeah.
Leave a comment if you know what her license plate says. Something just happened there. Weird. You just hear that bobbin spin in there? It's going to be a bird nest now. Not really, but it's going to be a mess. How much thread is left? Not much. That's why. Look. It is not properly wound now because it's backlash. It just spun. And it will try to pick up all these different little hoops in there. So we'll go ahead and strip this out of there. See? There it was. Man, that LED's putting off some heat. It's not supposed to be hot like that.
Yeah. I mean, these put off some heat too.
It's all those fake China. Or probably irradiating us. I'm used to filming these videos on Friday, not on Wednesday. I was just going to ask you what you're doing this weekend.
Thought about going to the LED and Neon Sign Museum in Ohio. You ever seen it?
No.
It's great. It's insane. It's got like a fake city that you walk through, and it's just old neon signs like Big Boy and all kinds of like huge like, signs everywhere.
Like vintage old real signs that they've salvaged.
Yeah.
Have you seen House on the Rock? I think it's in Wisconsin. It's insane.
Is it that one that has the carousel in it?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I saw a YouTube guy do a walkthrough and everything.
it's huge.
It has that big whale or something.
It's got all kinds of shit in there, yeah. We'll do the same thing. We'll call it House Not on the Rock. Well, maybe we'll just build a rock and put it on there. We'll build our own mountain. We'll get the Matterhorn from Disney. We'll bring one of those mountains over here. There we go. Ta-da. You know what's not on this thing? There is no label on here. Where will we put a label? I do not know. Huh?
You put one on the front.
There's a label? Oh, there is. Okay, good. You're right. It's a good thing someone knows what's going on here. All right. Now, we'll go ahead and sew this piece in. It's about even. All right. See, Velcro sticking to everything. All right, we're gonna strike right here in the corner, both corners lined up. I'm gonna get past all that bulk right there. There we go, still lined up. Are we the same? Yeah, we're pretty close. All right, this was also the same. Imagine that, it's about perfect, weird.
It's almost like you calibrated out. It's calibrated.
It's like I've seen this once somewhere.
10 years ago.
Shh, dude, last time I built one of these, I was making these in San Diego. So the last time I made one of these was probably 25 years ago, probably, at least. Because that was the big thing back then, was like the Jack Bauer bag and the, you know, everything was EDC, everyday carry. How can I carry, you know, and you wouldn't with this, obviously, with these colors and stuff, but how do I carry what looks like a briefcase but have my entire Ninja load out inside at the coffee shop where nobody looks at it weird, you know? Man, that's about perfect. No, that actually, it is perfect. All right, now I'm just gonna chase these two lines down. We're gonna put our foam, we're gonna close it up, and it's almost done. There's a couple little more parts on there still to do. All right. Do these fit? I really thought they were too small, but they're actually just perfect, actually. Almost like we figured this out before.
Oh. Last time you made, Cody wasn't even born.
Cody was born.
Okay.
Yeah. How old is Cody right now? 27, 25? Then it's got to be less than, because Cody was, when we moved, Cody was, I had Cody. Actually, Cody moved here with us when we moved. Yeah, so it can't be that long ago then. Pushing that line in. I should have pushed that foam further under. There we go. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. Here's what I'm talking about. See how it's not completely even right here? It walked in. The top isn't flush with the bottom. Nobody will see that, but I knew it when it did it. You could easily cut that and trim that. So there's that right there. It actually goes this way. And on the old one, I didn't have foam on the inside, or I didn't have Velcro all on the inside walls. So I had this patch of Velcro because there's a piece of webbing that'll hold this to lock this in place to conceal the insides there. So what I have here is we deleted that, added all of this Velcro, which gives you a lot more options. And we're going to go ahead and make the very last two pieces of this, which will be those tabs. We also, apparently, when we did them out of camo, we made them out of Cordura. But this is black and OD, so we will make them right here. Just fold it over. We'll put a little channel right there so that you can grab it, or put cord through there if you wish to. We used to sew these with an X through them. It's crazy how much we used to sew shit that just didn't
matter.
Yeah, it made no difference whatsoever. It just made it a lot more work. We're almost done. If you're still here watching, we're almost to the end here. And that tab is literally there to hold this sleeve closed, or to hold that whole entire foam wall in place closed, concealing everything that you have here and on the top wall there. And we're going to do the exact same thing right here. Now, I just sewed it raw edge right to the raw seam. If you're going to edge tape it, you can conceal that. You could also sew it right here upwards, and then it comes down. Your project, you do it however you want, whatever you think looks the best. The truth is, if we were doing this in a basement while we're being bombed and civil unrest and world at war again, you wouldn't do any of this shit. It'd be outside edges, it would be held together, it would look ratty. The more ratty it looked, probably the better, because it blends in and has camouflage and less hard lines. But we're not savages, so we're gonna do it clean. Or cleaner, kind of clean. I know somebody's like, what are you talking about? You didn't edge tape it. We were talking about that the other night. A lot of companies just sew all their shit single edge, just single stitch, and then they edge tape it and conceal it. You have no idea how much stitching's holding it together. A lot of places, the only thing holding it together is the line of edge tape. So we will mate that right there, and then fold this up and around. And do a similar, same thing right here. There you go. So there it is. And it opens up. So you could have it open up, and that's what you see. And then you could have all of these walls. So you could have medical here, you could have electronics here, you could have whatever MP5K here, mags right here, and then all kinds of YouTube, like whatever. You're only limited by your imagination with this bag or a bag like this. Now, I would personally, forever I did carry a laptop right here. A lot of guys are like, well, what about the sides not being padded? You can pad the sides if you want to. You could easily make a rectangular piece here that just Velcro tabs on here, or you could make a piece that is sewn here at the bottom and then tabs on here, or make a piece that is just a wing here that comes across. You can make it as padded and protected as you want to. This is how I use mine. When I carry my computer and laptops and stuff nowadays, I carry a laptop, a drone, 2 GoPros, chargers, everything. I carry them in a tool bag. I don't even carry them with, do you carry any of your shit in padded bags anymore? Yeah. It's too bulky. Bag. Yeah. Yeah, I don't carry any. I carry literally 2 laptops. One, I put all my shit in my large tool bag, put a MacBook Pro on this side, a MacBook Pro on this side, and zip it up. So there is our laptop bag. Most people are probably not using this for a laptop, but you could carry 4 laptops inside this thing.
I've never seen this bag, so
yeah,
me, it's like that's exactly what I'm.
Well, the reason we built this is because we're about to do a little skit video, a short 60-minute video for the movie Falling Down, because we just did a t-shirt. I should have it on right now. We just did a t-shirt for the movie Falling Down. It's been 30 years, I think, when I looked it up. So we're gonna shoot a little video. I've got a white shirt. I forgot to get a tie. I didn't have a briefcase, so we just built one. And that's why we built this right now. We will, I don't know, sell this. We'll probably put it on, show it on our live, and then put a link up for whoever wants to buy it. I don't know that we're gonna run these again. If you're interested, you can comment in the videos. I do a live every night at 9 o'clock or around 9 o'clock. On SOE, on this YouTube channel, SOE Tactical Gear. And I've got an Instagram also. Make sure you follow us there. We've got a new channel that's all the, pan around, show them. There's snakes all over the place. And there's a channel called SOE Reptiles and Exotics. There's on YouTube and on Instagram. So if you're interested in that, follow us. I know a lot of people over the last years have said, hey, do you have snakes anymore? And we didn't. And I'm still not getting back into reptiles, but there's a couple here. So we'll see you guys next time. Hope you learned something from this. Leave some comments if you like these videos. We spent probably 4 or 5 hours out of my life making this video you guys just watched. If you like them, let us know.
From the bottom, they tore it down, I rebuilt it. I give myself a task, you can bet your ass I fulfill it. Yeah, man, I'm talking about realest, one of the realest.